All right, everybody, I have another YouTube video for you guys today. And what we're going to talk about today is what happens if I am at risk for assignment on covered calls. And I got a couple of questions about that. And so I want to talk through that. But before I do, there are 4 simple things I want you to do if you're getting value out of my content. And no, I don't have any fancy intros and all of that yet. Maybe I'll get there at some point, but the production value will go up as the channel takes traction. But to me, it's about giving you guys knowledge for right now. I can make it fancier later on. And so before I go on, there are 4 simple things I want you to do if you're getting value out of my content. First, like the video. Just hit the thumbnail and give me a like. I'm forever grateful for every like I get. Also, subscribe to my channel. Third, hit the bell so you get alerted when I release new videos. And then lastly, share it with your friends. You have friends that might be looking for ways to improve their situation financially, and I'm here to help. And so I want to do it kind of my own little way. I'm trying to be a little different than everyone else, and so I want to share what I know. And so I'm going to go and talk mainly about covered calls in terms of when they get assigned. And if you want to look at what is a covered call, I have a couple other YouTube videos in there that talk about the basics. I would recommend watching those, or you can read the book Covered Calls for Beginners. I think it's by Freeman Press. Good book, gives you the groundwork. But I want to focus specifically on assignment. And the first thing that we need to talk about is what is assignment. And I'm going to go on my whiteboard here and point this out. So what we're talking about with assignment is when this is my share price over here. This is time. Over time, so when you sell a call, this is what you're doing on a cover call. You're selling a call. Here's your strike price, and it's up here. And all of a sudden, like I sell this call, and then before it expires, the share price has now exceeded the strike price. This is where you have a risk of assignment, because the share price is higher than the strike price. So what do we do in this situation? Hold on a second. Let me get thought I had my handy dandy marker over here, but maybe not. Might be in my pocket. It's actually in my pocket. So what do I know? So anyway, what I would tell you is we need to understand what this is. And I can do a lesson separate on cash secured puts, but I want to focus just on covered calls. And this is a situation where you will have, right here, you will have an assignment potential. Now, how does assignment work? So what will happen in an assignment is, let's say this is Apple, and let's say this is Apple, right? And let's say the share price is $145. Your option is at $140. So let me write this down, and it'll make more sense. So we'll say option strike. That's what you sold the strike. That's the strike price. It's 140. The price at close is 145. That means your option's in the money, right? That means you're probably going to get assigned. So what will happen? Here's what's going to happen. Let me write it up here so I don't have to bend over. You get this point here. And I will talk about it right in here. So what will happen is, first, you will sell Apple shares at 140. Again, the share price is at 145, but that person has an option contract that you sold them that says, hey, I want those shares at 140 because I have an option contract that dictates that. So that's the first thing that's going to happen, is that your 100 shares, it's 100 shares per contract. So let's just say you have 100 shares. Those 100 shares will be sold at $140, and then you will get $14,000 in cash. So what you'll see is, and your broker automatically does this. Your broker literally, even if you don't take any action, what ends up happening is, let's say you have 100 shares of Apple. The next day you'll wake up on a Saturday and you'll see it'll show 0, right? Your shares were sold, but then you'll see that $14,000 of cash in your account. That's what happened. And so the question becomes, how do you prevent that? My nose is itchy today. So what do you do? Well, let's look at some options. So what are options? What are options for assignment? Now, I want to reiterate, we're just talking about if you're at risk, what can you do? So it's Friday afternoon, you're like, oh crap, this option ran and I'm going to be assigned. So now we have to make some decisions. The first decision is, do I take assignment? So do you take it? It's okay, because here's what you can do. You can take, if you take it, it's automatic. And then you can also rebuy the shares. So you can rebuy the shares the following day. So like most options expire on Friday, so that means Monday morning you can rebuy the shares back at whatever price they're at. So obviously if Apple has gone to 145, hopefully on Monday it goes down a little bit and you can rebuy the shares at that price, and you can do this strategy again. So again, this is probably the most common option that people will have, is that what they'll do is they'll just simply, hey, I'll just take assignment on them, I'll let it go, and we'll look at whether or not I want to buy those shares back on Monday. So that is your first option that you can do. The second option, buy, call back. So you can buy any covered call that you sell, you can buy them back. The way you would do that is you'll go in your broker and you're going to tell it buy to close, BTC. Sometimes you'll see it abbreviated that. That means you're buying back the option to close the trade. That's what you will need to do. So you'll need to do that if you want to buy the option back. Now, with that being said, remember this. Because the option has run up, or the price has run up, that option is worth more. So when you buy it back, you are going to buy it back at a higher price than what you sold it for. So that will be a losing trade. Just know that. And, in that case with Apple, maybe you sold the option for $100 and you got $100 of premium. Well, if that price at strike is at 145 or the strike price is 140 in that example we were just talking about earlier, but the share price now is 145, you're probably gonna have to pay close to $500 to buy that back. So you have a losing trade there. Now, it's okay. Not every trade has to be a winner, right? You're not gonna get 100% accuracy on any trade that you make. But as long as, maybe you have a couple losing ones and the losses are fairly small, you will still be ahead writing covered calls. But yes, you can absolutely buy them back. And then the third is, sell. I've seen this one before, and sorry, the handwriting's a little sloppy. It's like sell an odd lot of shares to buy your call back. So this one, you're just outright taking the loss. What you could do here is maybe instead of having 100 shares of Apple, maybe you have 110 shares. And what you do is to buy the call back, you sell, let's say 3 shares. And what happens is you sell those 3 shares, but you also got the gains on it. Remember, you got the benefit of that little extra $5 a share. You can sell like a little snippet of some extra Apple shares that you have and use that to buy back the call. So that's another option too. But now this works if you have, let's say, an odd number of shares. And when I say odd number, I don't mean like 100, 102. I'm saying like if you have something that's like between, like not in exact multiples of 100 is what I mean. So if you have like 110 shares, you could simply sell that little extra chunk of shares and buy back your call. And then what you could do is the following week, sell a call again. And here's the cool thing is what you could do is sell that call, use that premium, and maybe that premium is enough to buy another share of stock. So you could kind of build it back up that way. There's another option there for those of you that are interested. The other thing you can do, and this is one that probably I use the most, is I'm going to call it a rollout. And a rollout is interesting because I can roll out vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. And I'm going to explain to you how each works. So let's do a horizontal roll. Okay, so let's say in this case I have a 610 145 call. This is Apple stock. Okay, I sold this, and it's going to go in the money. So what can I do? I can say, okay, I'm going to buy back this call. And then I'm going to go over here and sell I'm going to go sell this. I'm going to buy this and then sell this. So what I'm doing is I'm basically rolling the option horizontally, which is by calendar, a week. So I'm simply saying, hey, I'm going to buy back this option I sold. I'm going to buy it back, but I'm going to turn around and sell the same strike, but a week further out. Now, here's what you're betting on. You're betting on, oh my gosh, that share price ran up. So it ran up too much too fast. I think it's going to cool off. So I'm just going to wait another week. What's the risk in that? It could go further up. You'd be further deeper in the money. But this is an option. Now, what's great about this is, yes, you'll have to pay money for this. You're going to have to pay money for this. Okay, you're going to have to pay money to buy this back, but you'll get some of that back because you sold this. And because it's further out, you're selling more time. So that will help reduce the cost reduce that loss essentially. So, and you may even make a profit, just depending on how things line up. You may get a little bit more in the way of premium. So just be aware that this is an option, a horizontal roll, okay? The other option is a vertical roll. Oh, I can't spell roll apparently. Now a vertical roll is where I say here, I have my 610 I have this 145 call and I'm worried it's going to expire. And let's say this one works best if you have a little bit of time left, but you're like, oh my gosh, this is in the money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up and I'm going to go 610, 150. Okay, I know this is crappy handwriting, but we're going to make a point here. So here, I sold this one, okay? I sold this call. But what I'm going to do is like, oh my gosh, I think Apple's going to run really hard the next couple of days. I'm going to go ahead and flip this and move further up. So I want to make sure I don't get it signed. So what you're doing is you're saying, okay, I'm going to buy this call back, and then I'm going to immediately sell when it's higher in strike. Now, the issue with this is it does cost you money. This option, the option premium you will get for selling this will not be as much as it costs to buy this one back because they expire on the same date. These are same date. And so what ends up happening is you'll lose a little bit of money. But again, you would lose less than just outright buying that one back. So it's another option for you to do a vertical roll. But now what you can do is you can do a cool thing. And I'll tell you what, I actually did this on Tesla. And it's a diagonal roll. So what this is, let me lay this out. So we have Apple, 610. So we have this call that you sold, $145 strike. I sold this call. I want to buy it back. I'm worried this is going to go, I'm going to get assigned, but I don't want to lose as much money. What can I do? But I also, this isn't a case where maybe I think Apple's going to keep going up, and it's going to go up a little bit more, but I want to sell more time, but I want to move up in strike. So this is what you're doing, is you're doing a diagonal roll. So you're moving time and strike price. You're moving up. And so what you essentially are doing is now you're going to sell an Apple, and let's say it'll be a 150 strike, 617. So you're selling the time, but you're also changing your strike. That's a diagonal roll. And I actually did this I sold cover calls on Tesla. I don't do it anymore, but I did. And in October, Tesla had that big time run. So big that the option I sold I was like $40,000 in the hole. Big deal. And what I did is I'm like, okay, I do think Tesla had run up, hindsight's 2020, right? Tesla had run up too much, too fast. So what I did is I did a combination of horizontal rolls and diagonal rolls. So in that case, I went from like a 890 strike or an 800 strike to like an 810 strike and went a week out. Then I would take that 810 and go an 820 another week out. 820 to like 850 another week out. The steps that I made, it just depended on where I thought the stock was going to go, and also the volatility. The higher the volatility of the market, the more money you're going to get for these options. And that is another key thing. So there were times where I would pay $500 in premium to roll it. There were other times where I collected $3,000 in premium to roll it. It all depends on how much time and how far up you want to go. But when you go on your brokerage app, you can play around with the rollouts and just figure out how much it's going to cost. A lot of times it'll say, when you do that rollout, it'll say a debit or a credit. That's obviously telling you like how much in the way of either premium income you'll get or how much you'll have to pay to make that trade. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ways to do it, is to do a diagonal. And what I like about the diagonal is it gives you the opportunity to move up and strike. And so in this case, what you might have is this trade may give you, like maybe it's premium neutral. In other words, you sell and you buy this. You don't get any extra premium because you have to buy this one back. You may not get any extra premium, but what it allows you to do is give you a potential. Here's a potential of another $500 in gain. How did I get that? 145 to 150. $5 difference times 100 shares. Remember, an option controls 100 shares. Get another $500 of gain out of that. So this isn't to me, these are things like in your back pocket that you can do should you have the risk that you're going to get assigned. So hopefully this was valuable. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments and I will answer them as I am able to. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you're not following me on Instagram, I've said this before, be sure to follow me, MDeepCPA. It's MDEEPE CPA, all one word. And then on Twitter, it's mdeep, same spelling as the Instagram, _CPA. So be sure to follow me if you're not on those platforms. You all have a fantastic day.